Alright, so who will rule the North in the end? Um, my predictions for this are going to be based off of only the show. And basically, what I think is going to happen is Jon will be resurrected and by Melisandre, um, probably in the first or second episode. There's going to be some kind of fight between Tormund and Alistair Thorne, the rematch, and Tormund's going to kill him. Then we're going to see the wildlings pretty much kill all of the traitor Night's Watch. And then at the end of that, it's just going to be the leftovers of the Night's Watch. Maybe there'll probably be like maybe 20 guys left at Castle Black. Anyway, and then somewhere along those lines, Melisandre is going to come and resurrect Jon. And all these people are going to see this, and they're going to be like, we're not fucking with this dude. He just came back from the life, or from the dead. And, so Jon will pretty much have the support of not only the wildlings, but he'll have the sellswords and all their horses. They'll probably go back to the wall, and if they see Melisandre resurrect Jon, they're going to be like, okay, the Red Witch's magic is real. We're behind this guy. We're supporting him. Because, I mean, yeah, they're sellswords, but they think about the religions too, so they've been around it. They saw her do all that stuff, so they've been around her. They know about her lore and the religion, so they will now become believers, and they'll all support Jon. So, who will rule the North? First of all, before Robb died, he thought Bran and Rickon were dead, which they weren't. And it pisses me off that the show fucked that up because, you know, the show writers do so much to make it seem like, I don't know, like they do the whole, like episode 6 last season was called Unbowed, Unbroken. It's like, yeah, it was Martell words, but it's also, they did that because of the shocking scene at the end, because of Sansa unbowed, unbent, unbroken. It's like, okay, you bastards, that's pretty clever, but it's like, can you at least, if you're gonna go that in depth to something dumb like that, like the title of the name or the title of the episode, I don't really care about the title of the episode. I care about the substance and the content within the episode, and it just pisses me off. Like, Jon had that whole conversation with Stannis, and he knows that Bran is alive, and he didn't tell him. He was like, yeah, they just brushed over it. He never even said, like, oh, hey, by the way, my brother's still alive, and I know he's still alive. Just ignored it. And that stuff just kind of pisses me off. But anyway, I think, so first of all, we've got, before he died, Robb, he didn't want Sansa to become the ruler of the North because they knew that Tyrion just married her. So he was like, I'm going to legitimize Jon, and he'll be the heir if I die. So that also legitimizes Jon claim. Not only that, but Stannis also agreed to make him a Stark. And I think a copy of that letter will still be at Castle Black, where it says, like, you are now a Stark. Anyway, even if Jon's a Stark, a lot of different things could happen. For example, he could become the Stark ruler, retake Winterfell, and only be the regent to, Rickon. Or he could declare himself Lord of Winterfell, or he could declare himself King of the North. And I'm basing this kind of off of those leaked scripts as well, but I don't believe that those leaked scripts are real. I just think it's probably just some fan fiction made by some well-informed person, but it's not the real script. I don't think so, at least. The two things that made me think that it wasn't real were the part about Hodor getting hit in the head, and that's why he's retarded now. Just didn't seem believable. That just sounded like fan fiction to me. And then there's just a few other things in there. Like, for example, apparently Davos still called Jon the Lord Commander after he was resurrected. Brings up another topic. He's not the Lord Commander when he's resurrected because he's not in the Night's Watch anymore because he's absolved uh, of his vow. In my opinion, it could go anyway. So this is all just my speculation. Anyway, so I think one of Rob's biggest mistakes was declaring himself king. Had he just been humble and made himself the Lord of Winterfell and fought the battles, got the allies, and won the war, and didn't worry about titles, things could have went a different way. So I think Jon, being a bastard, he's had a harder life. He's had more struggles. He would be more humble and be able to declare himself just the Lord of Winterfell and be fine with that. Or even declare Rickon Lord of Winterfell and just be regent because Jon is humble. And he would still do all the work, still get stuff done, but not take the credit or the glory and just, suck it up. Because that's the kind of man he is. So the three candidates we got are, well, basically there's another one because the rightful ruler of the North is Bran. He's the next man in succession, but he's pretty much out of the picture. He's beyond the wall. Jon's gonna know he's alive and be like, yeah, Bran's still alive, but Bran's pretty much cool with this doing this. Before Bran left, he pretty much told Rickon, like, you are gonna be the Lord of Winterfell if something is to happen. So we need you alive. That's why you can't come beyond the wall with me. And Rickon knows that. And Rickon is probably going to be one of my favorite characters, if they do his character right. Because Rickon is going to be the wild wolf. I mean, this kid's probably going to come back. In the show, I think he's probably going to be about 9, which is cool. I mean, Arya killed her first person when she was like 9, and she was a wild wolf, and that's what Rickon's going to be. Plus, he got Shaggy Dog. So, and it's just a big, badass wolf. And then next to Bran, since he's spent all that time with him, he's going to probably be the second best warg to Bran. So if he fights in this battle of Winterfell, he'll probably kill some people with Shaggy Dog, or he might even fight and kill some people on his own because he's the wild wolf. Maybe he's been with the Umbers this time. We really don't know. But if he's been with the Umbers this whole time, they've probably trained him more. So he's just a wild kid. And, I mean, he's still a kid, but he's a Stark. And we've already seen that he's pretty tough and, he's got that Stark blood. He's got that Stark personality. So he'll do some shit. But, yeah, so he's our next candidate. But if we're going by age order, the next person would be Sansa. Okay? And Sansa would be alright. She knows a lot about the Game of Thrones. So that's one of her perks. And she's in cahoots with Littlefinger. So she's kind of got the support of the Vale. Rickon's got the support of the Northern Lords. And I'll come back to that and explain why. I think he'd have the support of the Northern Lords. And Jon has the Wildlings and the Sellswords, and whoever else follows him. So Sansa, okay, I'll give her credit. She probably knows the most about the Game of Thrones, and should be a lot better ruler than Rickon right now. I mean, Rickon would be like, over here lighting shit on fire. They'd be like, why didn't you come to the council meeting today? He'd be like, I don't know, I was fucking, hunting inside of Shaggy Dog, or, lighting shit on fire over here. But he is the rightful heir, and here's why. I don't want, Lord Baelish to rule the North. And that's what's going to happen, okay? What's Sansa's kid's going to be named? Bolton? If she has a kid with Bolton, she might be pregnant right now, and she would have a Bolton kid. We don't want a Bolton on the throne. That's exactly what we're trying to stop. And secondly, she agreed to marry Ramsay. It's like, you're sleeping with the enemy. I'm not okay with that. So yeah, she's pretty much a Lannister and a Bolton. That's granted, not all of this is her fault. I'm not trying to like blame her for this, but if she did have kids, her kids would not be named Stark, and that's the bottom line. Um, so, and so the only person to continue the Stark line would be Rickon, or potentially Jon if something were to happen to Rickon. But Rickon's got the Stark blood, and he's a male, so he will continue the male line. Another reason well, we're not sure, but Bran probably couldn't have kids either, so maybe he'll get Mira pregnant. We don't know. That could happen. But my support is on Rickon for being the King of the North or the Lord of Winterfell. And that's that. Rickon Stark, King of the North.